May we now request Shri S. Gurumurthy to talk to us about the legend.
My respects to all of you, and particularly the family of G Narayanaswamy who have come here, of whom I am also a distant part. My association with him started at a very critical juncture in the life of the country. That was the emergency. At that time, being in RSS, I was given the responsibility of securing funds for taking care of the families of people whose breadwinners were in jail. About 150 families. We had to provide ration and other day-to-day outgoings for them. And those were not the days when you could get money very easily. The hard days. And my association with him started because I went to him to explain, because he had taken a position against emergency. In those days, for a professional to take a position against such draconian rule of law or lawless rule that was prevailing at that time, that he encouraged me to go to him and speak to him. And I was underground at that time. I was employed in a chartered accountant's firm, Gaurikanthan and Company. In fact, Mr. Gaurikanthan said that I will give you 6 months leave. You need not have to attend office, the salary will come to you, but I entirely agree with you that this is something which has to be fought. So I went to Mr. Narayanaswamy and told him that I have this huge burden of having to look after 150 families. He used to give me continuously a certain sum, and that helped at least some 7, 8, 10 families to be kept out of hunger and extreme stress. That is how our relationship began. I found him to be a very courageous person because he didn't belong to a profession which had shown this quality. Because I am also a chartered accountant. I must say that not many chartered accountants would be willing to take to public life. It's because of the ecosystem in which Narayanaswamy was evolving. He became an advisor in a sense even to Rajaji. Rajaji used to take his advice. Imagine a giant, political giant, an intellectual giant like Rajaji valued him is something, and at an age at which nobody could get such recognition. You can get a position, but you cannot get recognition from such tall people. These were the qualities which I observed in him to start with. And as our relationship evolved, we became very close. And there I could see a quality in him that he never declared anybody as his enemy. And never allowed anyone to declare him as his enemy. And he never allowed anybody to declare himself as anybody's enemy. So why I say this is something which I later found. This is in Shukraniti. Shukra tells the Rakshasas, of course they never obeyed him, they never followed this great sagely advice that Shukra gave. He told the Rakshasas, never declare anybody as your enemy, never allow anybody to declare you as their enemy. You know, I saw this quality in him because Mr. G.V. Raman is here. There was some breakup of conventions in the Institute of Southern India Regional Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, in which Mr. G.V. Raman and G Narayanaswamy, very close friends, were aligned on two sides. But what G.V. Raman told me at that time, whether I don't know whether he remembers it or not, he said, Narayanaswamy Nallampa. This is how he spoke about a person who had taken a very tough stand against him. That showed Narayanaswamy's quality as a person. This is important because I was working under G.V. Raman in Gaurikant and Company, and I was trying to get into a more enlightened club. I am from a village and I had very little opportunity to move with people of this kind when I was being exposed to finer and greater qualities. This is how I began learning. You see, after all, it is the society which teaches us. It is the people, the ecosystem in which you evolve. They teach you the qualities. So, one of the most fortunate aspect of my life is I was always exposed to people of qualities, intellectual, moral qualities much above me. So I could learn from everybody. And one of the persons from whom I learned the finer qualities of life was G Narayanaswamy, because our relationship became mutually enriching and mutually respecting because he had very high regard for people who fought the emergency. He was undoubtedly an intellectual in the sense in which not people talk as an intellectual. All intelligent people can become intellectuals. The only difference between an intelligent man and an intellectual is an intelligent man thinks for himself, an intellectual thinks for the society. This is the difference. In that sense, I found him because some of us who have had the opportunity of being trained in the RSS, we valued this country much above all of us. We found that this country is something which has the potentiality to lead the world may not be in military might, may not be even in economics. In those days, we were not an economic power. We were defeated by China. But still all of us felt that this country has a message to give to the world. I am talking about 45-50 years ago. And I found Narayanaswamy a great patriot and a nationalist. He had his own views of what nationalism is, what this country is. But this is one of the bond between us that as a very tall professional, as a very intelligent professional, to whom many people looked up to as to how he interpreted a law, how he argued a case, how he delivered a lecture in a CA forum on any particular aspect of the law with which the chartered accountants were concerned. He was a very original mind. But beyond all this, it's not just beyond auditing, it is beyond the profession itself. He was an intellectual who was concerned about the country. And not only concerned about the country, he was willing to risk himself. And for a client who was being pursued, and he stayed in Mr. Narayanaswamy's house at that time, but he said, and anyone would have found it difficult to house a client who was being pursued by the system under Kofepoza or Misa or whatever it is. But Narayanaswamy gave him a place to reside in the house for 3 days till he approached the court. Those were not the days which we see today. At that time there was complete pitch darkness. So these are all the aspects of Narayanaswamy which attracted me to him. Another thing which we discussed when I was forced to take over the editorship of Tughlaq, I had a talk with him. Then I told him, maybe you will be the better successor than me because you somewhere match Cho in your repartees, in your sense of humor, and I am not endowed with that sense of humor. And Cho has created, cultivated and shaped an audience which requires this quality. So that is the extent to which Narayanaswamy could be seen as someone comparable to Cho in sense of humor. In any situation, the qualities which I saw in both, the most serious subject they would be able to put it in such a way that the message will go, but everybody will laugh. This is not a quality which comes to people very ordinarily. Another quality I found in him, in a way I tried to imbibe that quality. To what extent I could do it, I don't know. Encouraging all good initiatives. It's across the board you can see young chartered accountants. They were gravitated towards him because they can go with any initiative, and he found he was readily willing to support that. And the most important support which was not available those days was monetary support, and he used to give it very, very quietly. He would not even say that he has given this money, nobody should know about it. And some of the charities which he has done, maybe the news of it only will be coming now because he has been doing it very quietly. I have known it myself. This is one of the qualities which every philanthropist should imbibe. Swamy used to say, everybody is a philanthropist, even a person who donates tube to a temple with his name on it. He is also a philanthropist who wants the society to know he is a philanthropist. There are philanthropists who give without talking about it, without allowing others to talk about it. The third category is a philanthropist who forgets he has done the philanthropy. Narayanaswamy belonged to that category. So, when we are talking about a person like him, it is not to praise him. He is not here. Why do we combine and listen to the qualities of a person who is not with us? It is because these qualities are needed for the society. We are not celebrating Narayanaswamy today. We are celebrating certain qualities. And remembering them, we are trying to institutionalize that quality, and that is where this homage is relevant. This homage is not relevant for any other purpose. He is not a politician. He doesn't belong to a political party. No political party is going to make use of his personality to gather support. He was an individual, an institutionalized individual. So the purpose of this homage is to take lessons from his life. And in that sense, I found that the multi-dimensional qualities of Narayanaswamy in fact made him a dimensionless person. When we are together, one of the things which I thought we should do, the young chartered accountants who have experienced him, that all of us should put together our experience of Narayanaswamy. And we should come out with a compilation. And that must not be just to elevate him or praise him, but to emphasize what we have learnt from him. This is the most important thing. I think some such a compilation will be of great use to young chartered accountants particularly, because this profession is a very powerful profession, a rich profession, a very dynamic profession. It needs qualities of people like Narayanaswamy who have led this profession and maintained very high standards as a professional as well as a human being. And his family members are here, and as I said, I am an extended family member myself, that all our best and sincere condolences to them. But the more important thing is how we are going to perpetuate and institutionalize these qualities as an illustration and example for the young professionals. Thank you.
A legend. Probably he lived the life in a way we would be able to relate to all the values prescribed by all the great people, including the epics. Thank you, sir. Along with the floral tributes, your words were like the choicest of flowers, all perfectly tied together to spread the fragrance of the life of the institutional individual.